Welcome to another edition of Inside Benedict College Football with Coach Ron Dickerson Jr. I'm Dennis Switzer with Benedict College, here with Coach Dickerson. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, glad to be here.
Curtis, today, we're taping this day on Veterans Day, and so Curtis is out doing Veterans Day celebration stuff, and we certainly wish him well. He knows he wishes he could be here, but he's out serving, doing his part, and we also want to celebrate our veterans and say thank you for their service.
Most definitely. Everything that you guys have done for this country, veterans, we really appreciate it. I know my family does, and also the Benedict Tiger football team. We appreciate everything you've done.
So we're here today, and we want to thank our sponsors always, starting with Founders Federal Credit Union. They're one of our main sponsors here for Benedict College Athletics. Also, some of our other sponsors include South Carolina Education Lottery, Columbia Metropolitan Airport, and Lexington Medical Center. We certainly want to thank them for all they've done, and their generosity has been able to help us put this show on every week.
Thank you very much.
So, Coach, it was a beautiful day Saturday, beautiful weather, nice day, last game of the season. Hard to believe it's been the last game of the season already.
That's true. I mean, it's gone by. Some days it seems it's really long, but when you look at the whole season, it went by very fast. And so, I was excited. But
it was a beautiful day for football, and it was even better because we got the win.
That's true. It was senior day. There was a lot of people in the stands. We had, I think it was also band day, which, they provided a lot of noise, and they did really well into that, which was, again, was very pleasing for our seniors, to look up there and see the stands as full as they were and everything else. But, one of the things we just wanted to send the seniors out on a good note, and also for those coming back, wanted to start our spring off and the next season with a good note.
And we certainly did that. We beat Savannah State 35-27.
And I'll take that.
So Benedict wins the toss. We defer to the second half.
Correct.
And that gives Savannah State the ball first. And on their first drive, they end up scoring on a 48-yard pass.
Yeah, it was against Taylor Morrow. That young man has been playing DB for exactly 1 week. He'd been over on our scout team as a wide receiver, played DB in high school, but we, with some of our injuries and some of the other things that we had, very talented young man. We had to move him over. Going into Fort Valley was kind of the first time he had played, and only played really a couple of snaps. And then, again, going into this game, we lost Gio, so we had to put him in. And good coaching, they looked over and seen that there was a freshman and somebody that hadn't played much, and, went after him. But he ended up settling in, and we were happy with that.
Benedict punts on their first possession. Savannah State takes over again. After a big tackle for loss by Casey Bolton, Savannah State now is facing a 3rd and 26 near midfield. They attempt to go deep, but Isaiah Isidore comes up with the interception for Benedict.
Yes, and again, a young guy playing in the secondary. We've had to move guys around, but that's just, one of the things that we said. We just got to play 4 quarters. We were struggling offensively, as you said. Again, we're going through a quarterback transition, and so we started Kamari Fry. He wasn't really feeling what we were trying to do. Don't know if it was nervous or, anything. So the one that had played a lot, we put Trey back in there. But again, we just couldn't get things moving. So we had to put our defense back on the field. But as I said all year, our defense is one that's going to bend, not break. There's going to be some things that, we have given up. But again, they have not just completely folded into that and put us in a situation to get the ball back. But again, we turn it back over and give them another opportunity to, I think they go on down and score and put us, 14-0?
So Savannah, like you're saying, Coach, a Savannah State punts, pins us deep, but we do get facing a 3rd and 12, we get Trey Simmons. He comes in, like you were mentioning, he came in the game. He gets a 24-yard pickup to Shatarius Williams.
Yes, and Shatarius has been doing good and off and on. Very young receiver core. Again, had to make a transition early in the game with the quarterback, and the good thing is that the connections had been there all year because they had been working and everything else, but we needed a big play, and one of our older receivers, which is a sophomore, stands up and makes a big play.
Correct. But the drive stalls, and we punt, and then, like you were mentioning, Savannah State does come out and drive, score on a 30-yard touchdown pass.
Yes, again, we're going to get better at defensive back. But, having to put 2 freshmen out there, actually 3 freshmen out there with Isidore and everything else, or, a redshirt freshman, we took our beating this year, in the secondary. And, it was good because, again, like I said, they didn't give up. But they struggled through this game, and as a good coordinator for the other team, you look out there and see where, the weakness is. And, they did a good job of picking on those freshmen Saturday.
It's third down from the Savannah State 11-yard line, and then Simmons throws to Shatarius Williams for a touchdown that gets Benedict on the board.
Yeah, again, as I had mentioned, and I'll go back and I'll start. One of the things about being blessed to have Lucas win is you said we punt and punt. Being one of the top punters in the conference and, ranking in the top in the country, in the top probably 25 in the country. He does a great job when we talk about hitting yardage. He changes the field for us with his strong leg and gives us an opportunity. And with all his hang time on both kickoffs and on punts, they don't get a lot of returns. And so if we stall out on offense, which again we have until we figure out a couple things with our young O-line and our quarterback situation, Lucas is a big weapon for us. And so, he did that, which now teams have to drive the field and gives our defense, a better opportunity. But as it happened, we flipped it this time, had a great opportunity. Trey makes a great throw again to, I'm going to say this until next year, we have a freshman wide receiver core, and those guys are just stepping up. And the games aren't too big for him. He makes 2, throws to Troy Hillman, who, I think is probably one of the best receivers in the conference. And I'll stand on the table with that, especially him being a freshman and doing some of the things that he's been able to do. And then, again, when we come back around, we're throwing the ball to Troy, so who are you going to play, which gives opportunities for guys to get one-on-ones. And, Shatarius has been coming on all at the latter part of the year. His matchup going down the middle of the field has put us in great situations, the latter part of the season, and we've seen a great matchup, and him and Trey have a good connection. And so from the 11 in, we score, and then we go up for 1, and, we just have a breakdown. They said they were offsides. I don't know. I wasn't on the field or anything else, but still, we can't give up a blocked field goal. Whether they're offsides or not, we got to be able to block it. But they ended up blocking it, so, instead of us getting the extra point, it's 14-6.
So Savannah State gets a 49-yard pass on their drive, but on the next play, Ty Patterson comes in with a big strip sack. Casey Bolton gets the recovery.
Ty, as they call him, Hammer. He's just been a great leader, coming into the program, buying into the program, taking over the defense. I get scared when he's out there practicing against our guys. He just has so much energy, but he rises and raises to the competition level and everything else, and had an opportunity, seen it. And, we talk about, again, turnovers, hidden yardage, and everything else, winning the turnover battle. And then when there's the ball on the ground, we got to go scoop and score. And that's just guys playing through the whistle. And, that's what we talk about. Don't just play when the whistle and stop, play through the whistle. He makes a great play. Casey follows it up and has an opportunity to give, the offense a chance to get back on the field.
So Benedict takes over at the 33-yard line, and then facing a 3rd and 16, Trey Simmons runs for 23 yards, and then a couple plays later, he does it again and gets 21 yards.
That's one of the things that Trey does very well. We knew that going in, that, he was probably early in the year and even through, he was a better runner than he was a passer, and we tried to, get him into our vertical passing game. And in our quick and intermediate passing game, and he kind of struggled, but the one thing we knew that, if he had to, he can run and he can get us out of a lot of trouble, and he did, when we needed him to. They ran a good coverage, dropped 7, dropped 8. Now it's Trey one-on-one with the linebacker, and, he gets positive yards, and then again, you want to do the same thing. Trey's going to make a good decision instead of trying to force the ball. And so, as we're backed up, you have to play now the whole field, and you have to play all 11 of our guys on the field, with the ability that Trey has. And so he puts us in a situation to continue the drive.
All right, so Benedict's getting close, but then Trey Simmons throws a 12-yard pass to Malachi Jones. That gives Benedict a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
One of the things I tell the receivers is anywhere inside the 5, you got to score, because we're going to try to run the ball. And again, that's something that we have to get better at, is being able to run the ball down in the red zone. But with so many young guys and not being as strong as we need to, that's a problem. But I'm still not going to give up on it. And so the next play, we go out and we try to run the ball and we only get a yard. But I'm starting to see a matchup that I like, And like I said, the connection between the receivers that are on the field and Trey is really good, and they give us the one matchup that we want. And we're gonna go to our team leader, and again, Trey and Troy just have this great connection. Balls in the air. Very rarely do they not connect, and puts us in a great situation to get back into the game. But Trey makes a great throw to Troy, and Troy makes a great catch over there in the end zone, which I think now puts us at 14 to 12, and we got to go for the extra point at this point in time. But I think, was that when I went for 2?
You went for 2, so you're down because you missed the extra point. So
Right.
you go for 2 to try to tie the game.
Correct.
We don't get it.
We don't get it, And again, I think it's an opportunity where our young receivers needs to make that catch. When I talked to him about it, he said, Coach, I'll make it from now on. So it's a learning process. But, again, as I've done all year, I believe in this team, so I'm going to take chances. Conventional football when I need to, but when you have faith in these young men and you've seen them work and you've seen them grow together, you're going to take some chances. And so I just want them to know that, Coach Dickerson and his coaching staff believe in them, and that's why I went for 2 at that point in time. Didn't get it, but didn't flinch.
So now there's just a minute left in the first half. Probably thinking that's probably going to be how it goes into the halftime, but Savannah State gets the ball. They score quick on a 77-yard pass.
Yeah, they picked on the freshman again. And he was in great position. It was just experience. He tried to play the ball as a receiver and not as a DB. Tried to go for the catch instead of going for the strip, into that. And the Savannah State makes a great catch, and it was a great ball. 76 yards later, we're back in a dog fight. But again, we're not going to flinch. We're just going to keep going, and we know we're about ready to go into halftime, and so we'll make the corrections and everything else. But very disappointing that would happen, right after we just went and scored with such a little bit of time on the clock. For them to try to get a momentum swing.
Sure. So that's how it ends at the halftime, 21-12 in favor of Savannah State. You go into the locker room, but before we go into the locker room, we celebrate Senior Day.
That's true, and it was. Some of them were guys I recruited. Some of them were guys that stayed over and they're working on their masters. And however it is, at some point in time, they were little guys that just wanted to play college football, and they had the opportunity to play college football. And so, that day, if they had not been a starter or not played, we were going to make sure all of them played. And they all did, and I'm very pleased with them because they bought into, what Coach Dickerson and his coaching staff wanted to do. But it's sad also to see them go, and so it was great to see all the parents and everything there again because, it's just an honor to get a degree and also be able to play the greatest sport in the world.
And I know we talked earlier in the week. Obviously we know, some of the seniors were key guys. We talked about Aaron Miller and Israel Nomocha and Jordan Taylor on the offensive line. But some of these other guys, maybe they didn't play a lot, like we talked about, but they did provide a lot of locker room leadership even throughout the year, especially with the young team that we had.
So true. We had, we had a guy such as Marcus French. Marcus French ran track here at Benedict, still runs track at Benedict. Never really got into a starting role, but he had a role. He played a lot for us this year. He's majoring in and going to graduate this May in biology. I think he has a 3.45 or better. I know it's not less than that because, he always reminds me. But it's guys like that may not be starters, but they're handling their off the field success because they're doing what they need to do to set themselves up for 5, 10, 25 years from now. And that's one that really sticks out. Thomas Morgan is a young man that, was always out recruited, but always had a smile on his face. He played running back, and wanted to get him in the game. The game went up and down into that, but he played on special teams. And he was on the field when we had that long kickoff return later on in the game that we'll talk about. But, you know, it's him embracing his role.
Sure.
You know, and oh, he could have been upset because he never played, but he went in there and he did a great job, you know, into that. And you know, there was other guys that I can just go on and on and on,
Sure.
but this show will go on forever, you know, because I think we had 10 or 12 seniors that were there. But them were just some of the guys that
Sure.
show you, you know, the love that they have for Benedict and why they stayed, why they continue to play football. You know, society looks at, oh, they got to win and they got to lose. You know, if you're really a true person, you look at how you develop young men. And that's where we are in this world. We forget about that, and then we want to complain about them because they're all in trouble and doing all this other stuff, you know, and we got to develop them to get their degree, to be better husbands, fathers, employees. So when you have those seniors that get their masters, which we have about 4 or 5 of them,
Sure.
yeah, we had about 5 or 6, I think, because, right, Zach got his, Aaron got his, Larry got his, Darius Baker's getting his, Marcellus got his, yeah. So we had quite a few guys that were working on their masters, which is awesome, you know.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Again, it's bigger than football.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, so you go in the locker room, you're down 9. What'd you talk about in the locker room? Any adjustments that you're trying to make?
You know, discipline and consistency. And, you know, they're doing things that we know they were going to do. We're doing things to keep us in the game, but we're not doing what we needed to do. Dropped a couple passes, like I said, you know, didn't give up big runs or, you know, just gave up a couple big plays and guys were in wrong situations. But again, that comes with experience. You know, I just told them to go out the second half. You know, we have done really well all year, but especially in those last 5 games of coming out in the second half. And if we're in the hunt, you know, we've been successful and pretty much we're able to win the games. And so, you know, I said, guys, this is, for a lot of us, this is the last 30 minutes that you're going to have an opportunity to play. Sure. And your family's here, your friends are here. Just go out and have fun. You know, just go out and have fun. Believe and finish. And, you know, that's how we came out of the locker room, believing and finishing.
All right. All right. And then we're going to come back for in a minute. We'll have our player spotlight that thanks to Lexington Medical Center. And then we'll be talking about the second half. And as we mentioned, Benedict ends up winning this game, so we got some good things coming in the second half.
True.
All right, we'll be back in a minute.
Life, like water, is something you move through. You need a team helping propel you forward. The experts at Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine provide specialized treatment for the athlete and all of us, backed by the #1 rated hospital in the Midlands. Life's a sport. Keep playing.
Welcome back to Inside Benedict College Football. I'm Dennis Switzer, and we're here with Jackson Williams with our Lexington Medical Center Player Spotlight. Welcome, Jackson.
Welcome. Hey.
So tell us, Jackson, you've been a big highlight this season with your kickoff returns, 2 returns for touchdowns, including this past weekend. Just what makes it, what do you like about returning kickoffs?
Returning kickoffs, it's fun. Doing everything with the team, having great blocks, things like that, and just being able to celebrate when I'm in the end zone with them.
So you're from Dothan, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
You played at where?
Hetland, Alabama.
Hetland, Alabama. And were you a return man there? Did you?
I didn't really return because nobody would kick it to me there.
Okay. You played receiver?
I played quarterback.
You played quarterback?
Yes,
oh,
sir.
Okay. All right. Well, what kind of numbers did you put up there?
Oh, quarterback, 2,000 passing and 1,000 rushing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's. What made you want to come to Benedict?
I just fell in love with it when I got here. All the coaches invited me, and this is a place I can grow and develop as a player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you've mostly been used as special teams and kickoff returns this year. Do you see that role expanding, maybe going into receiving next year? And
Yes, sir, I do.
so you want to be? I mean, we've had a lot of good receivers this year.
Yes.
It's a big room there to break into that receiving core.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think you can bring?
My athleticism, speed, catching ability, and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so what's your major here at Benedict?
Sports management.
Sports management. What kind of things do you want to do after graduation?
After graduation, either get into athletic training or coaching.
And coaching? Okay. Well, good.
Sure.
Go back to Alabama and coach your old high school?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, Jackson, it's been great meeting you.
Thank you.
And congratulations on a great season.
Thank
I know Coach was talking about, we're looking for you to finish as #1 in the nation in kickoff returns this season. That would be a big honor.
Yes, sir. Really
All right.
excited.
All right. Thanks, Jackson. And we'll be back with more after this.
Life moves fast, and while you're raising future MVPs, it's good to know you've got a teammate with Founders, a partner you can trust to always have your back, with products and services that give you the freedom to focus on the more important things. While you're sharing those moments, remember, we're here for one single reason, to help grow your financial success. So when the game is done, you can relax, because at Founders, our most valuable player is you.
Hey, welcome back to Inside Benedict College Football with Coach Ron Dickerson Jr. Coach, certainly we want to thank again our sponsors, Founders Federal Credit Union, Lexington Medical Center. Thank you for supporting our student athletes with our player spotlight that we just saw. South Carolina Education Lottery, and the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. And if you were at the game, hopefully you registered for those chance to win those airplane tickets. And we'll be announcing a winner very soon. But Coach, you won the toss, deferred to the second half. Good thinking on your part then, right? Good coaching.
That's true. I think that may have been the first or the second time that we've actually won the toss and been able to defer. And so we really work hard on special teams. We really work hard on offense and defense. And we can say any one of those phases can win the game or put you in a situation too. And so, again, coming out, we just said you got to believe and you got to finish. And like I said, we had some guys who hadn't played a lot on special teams because they were seniors and stuff like that. But the one thing that they knew was that guy back there, Jackson Williams, is special. And the one thing he does, he loves all those guys, those 10 other guys. And so they're going to give a little more effort for him in doing that. And I mean, if you give that young man a crease, that's why he's one of the top in the country.
Absolutely.
And so, when you need which is surprising, but when you need a momentum swing, kick to him. If you're a Benedict fan or if you're a Benedict coach, if you're not, I would probably kick away, but they kicked to him. And so the next thing you know, 83 yards later, I think it was, he's in the end zone and the momentum has changed dramatically. Dramatically.
That was a big, really, we're going to talk here about what happens here in the third quarter, but that was the initial spark for a big third quarter.
Yes.
So yeah, Jackson Williams returns it. 80, I think officially we counted it as 84 yards.
That's even better.
and not just that return, he was putting you guys in good field position on every return.
Oh yes, and again, that's why I mentioned, I do not know why they were kicking to him, but I'm happy that they were kicking to him because again, as I mentioned the weeks before and today, that young man is a freshman coming out of Alabama, is one of the best in the country. And he's up there at all levels, into that. And so we know that if 10 other guys just do their job, he's going to put the offense in good field position. And that's what he was doing. They were getting blocks. All he has to do is make 1 or 2 miss. And where a lot of teams, start in that 20 to 30, he was putting us in the 40 and on the other side.
Absolutely.
And so, I'll take that anytime. But again, that's credited to all 11 of those guys. It's just blessed that he has the talent to do what he's done. And that was his second of the year, and I was really excited for him.
Yeah. And so Lucas wins as the PAT this time, and now it's 21-19.
We're in the game.
We're in the game, absolutely. So after the PAT, Lucas wins, kicks it off, has a good kick, and pins Savannah State deep. They move the ball just a little bit, but not much, and then they end up having to punt. They get into punt formation, the ball mishandled or goes over the punter's head or something, but then all of a sudden it's a mad scramble for the ball. People are chasing the ball around the field, It gets kicked, this and that. It finally gets kicked out of the back of the end zone. Safety for Benedict.
Yeah, you know, coming off of the momentum of the long return, and then the defense stymieing them and holding them because they were backed up. You know, I looked at Coach Holmes, who's in charge of our punt return, and I said, go after it. And he said, Coach, we'll go after it. And so, again, got a lot of freshmen now out there, and we had been working it out there. You know, one of the guys that we knew had a great chance was a local guy, Caleb Pearson. And so, you know, we gave him the green light to go. He comes off. The ball is high, but I think the kicker is more worried about the rush coming also instead of looking it in. Goes over his head, and the next thing you know, you see a mosh pit of purple jerseys, you know, trying to get on the ball, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because nobody gets the ball. And then as the ball rolls in the end zone, Izzy Rhodes actually has the ball, and as he's rolling over, another one of his teammates hit the ball, and the ball goes out of the end zone, and we're going, okay, it's at least a safety, and then they have to talk about it a little bit, but they ended up giving us the safety. And so, you know,
could have been a touchdown.
It should have been a touchdown, but hey, I will take 2 points. I'll take points any way we can get them. So, but again, you just look at a group of young men that don't quit.
Absolutely.
Do not quit.
So safety, 2 points. Now it's tied, 21-21.
That's true. We're excited.
So after the safety, Savannah has to punt the ball back to us. We get the ball. Coach, what do we do?
You know, again, Jackson gets another pretty good return. And we're in a situation where, you know, I look and I said, hey, we have the momentum. Let's go after him. And, you know, Trey goes to his right, have Malachi Jones run down the field. Malachi Jones catches the ball, falls in the end zone. As he is falling, I guess, from what he said and watching on film, the defender has his hand in there. When they hit the ground, the defender rips the ball out. But I need Malachi, you know, and again, being a freshman, we talk about that, we joke about that can't happen ever again in his playing career. And so that's something, a teaching moment, you know, at that point in time. But, you know, should have been 7. Great ball, would have been a great catch. The defender makes a great play on it. And so, you know, we have to go back to the drawing board, see another matchup, have another freshman in there. Alex is in there. Alex runs right by the DB, wide open in the end zone. I guess the moment was too big for him. You know, he drops a wide open touchdown into that. And then we have to scramble around. Trey gets hit. And, you know, again, we have another guy open, but Trey gets hit because they bring pressure and everything else. And so play calling again, could have played it safe, didn't want to because I believed where we were going and what we needed to do. Again, had 2 opportunities to score. We just got to work on those, and those will be things we work on over the spring. But have to put the defense back out there. And, you know, something that I really don't like doing, going 3 and out. But like I said, we had 2 opportunities to score.
Yes, absolutely. But Savannah does get the ball. They put together a drive, get a couple of 20-something yard passes. They end up getting all the way down to the 12-yard line, but the defense kind of steps up and holds them out of the end zone. They have to try to kick a field goal, and they miss a field goal. No points.
Hey, bend don't break with them. You know, again, football's football. You're going to move, and like I said, early in the game, when you look at how we play, and I analyzed it with our strength coach, I think playing so many young guys and not being as physical, and not saying that negative, we're just not a strong team. A lot of our guys were playing high school last year. A lot of our guys are coming out of JUCO, and they're redshirt freshmen or redshirt sophomores who don't have the girth and the strength. So during the first half, we get manhandled a lot, and things happen. As the game goes on, though, we show our determination, you know, our belief, but we're also probably one of the best teams when you look at being in shape, because, I mean, we turn it up in the second half. We just got to get stronger in the weight room, and that's where I mean, as they now start to slow down, our defense starts to pick it up. We just got to make sure, where a lot of times earlier we weren't in the game as close as we have been in some of these games, and that's what happens. You know, our defense gives up a semi-long pass, which is football, but we don't give up the home run, and we get a situation where they can get points, but, you know, we don't break.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, 21, still 21-21. All right, so Benedict takes over after the missed field goal, and we move the ball, get a pass to Zach Gibson, then a pass to Troy Hillman, and then it's a bomb, the home run shot to Shatarius Williams.
Yeah, you know, the one thing, as I mentioned before, is our conditioning. So what we tried to do then is we went to our tempo offense, and we got very talented young receivers, and so, you know, we just run through our intermediate game and our short game, and we look for matchups. And, you know, the good thing is Zach being a senior, you know, standing at about 6'4", 6'5", you know, we can get matchups with him, and we saw a great matchup. He makes a guy miss. Boom, he moves the ball down the field. Again, at that point in time, now who are you going to play? We see Troy's open, throw the ball to him. I mean, that's just good football. You know, we're not reading one guy. We're just seeing who the open man is. They're making, you know, yards after yaks, as you say, you know, yards after contact. And then again, we get into a situation. So now you've thrown the ball to Zach. Now you've thrown the ball to Troy. You know, Malachi Jones is on the field. You know, so you got to, at some point in time, pick your poison.
Sure.
And as that happens, you can't forget about one, because if you do and Trey has enough time, he'll find him. And that's what happened. You know, he found, as we call him, Bama, but Mr. Williams, you know, wide open down the field. They got confused because two eyes went on Troy because of the misdirection route we ran. He was open. I just wanted to say, just make sure you make the catch and then get in the end zone. And he did that. And so I was really pleased with, you know, the receiver corps. The offensive line did a great job of giving Trey time to, you know, go through his reads and everything else, and puts us in a situation now that, you know, we're able to score 7 more points and actually take the lead.
Take the lead for the first time of the game, 28-21, 4:33 left in the third quarter. Still a lot of football to play, though.
A lot of football.
So Benedict driving again in the end of the third quarter, goes into the fourth quarter. We get down to the Savannah 26-yard line. Trey's going for a pass. He gets sacked and fumbles, but we do recover the ball. But Trey does come out of the game for one play.
Yeah, they did a good job, put pressure on us. When our receiver got a little confused, you know, and I was hoping Trey would have threw the ball out of bounds, but didn't have enough time to actually do that because they had pressure. They get a great hit on Troy, and I can tell that, you know, he's not, I'm sorry, I said Troy, on Trey, you know, and I can tell that he's kind of shaking up, so I take him out. And, you know, our redshirt freshman has had great weeks of practice, and so I wanted to give him an opportunity. And one of the things that he's done well is throwing the goal ball.
That's Bryce Bowens.
Which is Bryce Bowens, you know, and it wasn't anything against Kamari Fry or anything else. I just, you know, wanted to give people opportunities because, again, we're going into the spring and doing stuff. And like I said, he's had a great week of practice, you know, on that. And I seen a great matchup. I knew we struggled running the ball. And so I thought that we would have a good opportunity. Again, took one of his best throws that he's been doing ever since he's been in high school. And for some reason, he throws the ball inside. You know, we have the matchup, we're open, but he throws the ball inside. Safety comes off the hash and, you know, makes an interception. Hindsight, I look back, probably with his first, you know, time going in there, I probably should have handed the ball off. But again, you know, I believe that the kid could have made that throw. I guarantee if he goes out there and has to do it 10 more times, he'll make 9 of them, you know. And I just, you know, told him, hey, Bryce, you know, why'd you throw it inside? Okay, man, I believe in you, you know. And then Trey was like, okay, but we turned the ball over. So, you know, we had to go to defense of possession and holding them, you know, into that. Again, hindsight, probably would have done something different, but I believed in the kid. I wanted the kid to have an opportunity to score. You know, the game was still a game that we needed to win. We had the momentum. And one of the things, if you go back and look at our stats, we haven't kicked a lot of field goals. Okay?
Yes.
We've kicked extra points. We haven't kicked a lot of field goals. And so, you know, in the back of my mind, because Lucas is a 3-kicking young man for us, field goals, extra points, kickoffs, and punts. And so, you know, where he is a little weak is in the field goal aspect. And I feel that he can make it if the game's on the line and we had to do it. But I also feel good with, you know, our quarterbacks and receivers to make plays.
So Savannah gets the ball. They're driving. They get a 43-yard pass, gets them all the way down to the Benedict 16-yard line. The defense comes up huge this time.
Again, you know, bend don't break. And, you know, again, we're young. We will not be, you know, going into the future. But, again, they pick on our freshman. He's in position. They just get a big play. But we don't flinch, and our defense comes up and they run the ball on the first play, and they get a little bit of yards, and then, we call a blitz and bring Nolan Jones inside, and I mean the quarterback doesn't see him, and it's pretty, and he sacks for about a 10-yard loss, and then we know now they're behind the sticks. The time is running down, so we're assuming that they're going to have to pass. They're probably thinking we're going to blitz, but we don't. We show it, we back up out of it. They make a pass, and Isidore does a great job of coming off the hash, just playing safety. A young guy reading it and is going through his film study and bats the ball down, which now gives him fourth down.
Fourth down.
And so now, we're in a situation of, hey, one of you guys up front are going to have to make a play. Defensive backs just hold them just enough so we can make it. And sure enough, one of our defensive linemen, as we call him, Mr. Daniels, he's one of the twins. So
Isaiah Austin Daniels.
Exactly. So, his name is Isaiah Austin Daniels, and he's Mr. Daniels, and then his brother's called Twin. So that's how we do it amongst them, on that. But we needed a big play, and sure enough, he gives us the big play, gets another sack on fourth down, which now the ball turns over and gives us the opportunity with, again, momentum, and that's how it's going. We're bending, we're not breaking, and we're believing, and we're working to finish.
Absolutely. That was a big play, big turning point.
Yes, it really was.
Benedict gets the ball back. We're moving the ball again, Coach.
Yep. We're, again, what's working for us, taking pressure off of the young offensive line, we're going to that fast-paced offense. Again, we got a great receiver core. They're young, but they know how to get open. And so, again, you either cover receivers or you have to cover Trey. And so, this time they want to kind of spy on Trey. There's holes in there. We throw the ball to Zach Gibson, who's coming, again, I mentioned Zach's 6'4.5", run down the middle of the field, makes a great catch, breaks a tackle. We're like, oh, he's going to score. That old adage, if you get inside the 5, you're in trouble, and I think Zach gets down to about the 4-yard line or somewhere into there. Great effort by him, great throw, great job by the offensive line, but he gets tackled, so the next play, again, we see the matchup, and we throw the ball to Darryl Lloyd, one of our transfers, young guy from California, and he lets the DB push him out a little bit, but he would have had to make a great catch for his first touchdown, and right when he was going to grab the ball, DB got his hand up in there, so now we're in second down. We have a timeout or something that goes on. I think I called timeout, and I went to the O-line, and I went to the running backs, and I said, look, we have to establish who we are. We're this close, we got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. We're going to call the play that we believe in, and, we had a Ken Durant in the backfield. I said, Ken, however you got to get in the end zone, get in the end zone. O-line, you got to make something work, because we got to run the clock, and we got to let them know that we can run the ball. And sure enough, the hole opens up. Safety runs down, so Ken has to bounce outside. He goes up over the top and gets in the end zone, which gives us another opportunity. But to be able to run the ball in down there and instill our will was really good for our whole team.
Absolutely. Lucas gets the PAT. We're up 35-21.
Never comfortable. There's still time on the clock,
Still time, but
we have to do our due diligence, offense, defense, and special teams.
Savannah State gets the ball. They move the ball down. They're driving. They get down into the red zone, but then on fourth down, they come up and they're trying to go for they have to score now. It's getting late in the game, and we come up with another big stop.
Yeah, we kind of knew that we were in 4-down territory because you're in their 2-minute mode and they're down by 2 touchdowns. So, they're going to have to take the opportunities. They've been doing really well, again, with their intermediate and their deep passing. We had, again, as I said, we were in our mode, though, of where we play good in the second half. We had the energy and got them to a 4th and short. Had an opportunity to get it, but Mari Terry just makes a great play, and the rest of the 10 guys on the field do their job, and we're able to, stop them right there. And so, I'm excited because I'm like, okay, now we have the ball. We just need to run the ball, but and run the clock out, because that's what you do. You go into your 4-minute mode. The problem I knew is that, physicality, we weren't strong on the offensive line. So to impose our will on somebody for the duration of the game to run the clock out, it was going to be hard for us. And I didn't really want to pass the ball as much as we needed to, because incomplete stops the clock,
Right.
and then if, you have an opportunity to get an interception and stuff like that. And so we pass it and then we try to run it, and we just can't move it enough for ourselves and everything else. So we have to go back and we have to punt the ball. And so at this point in time, I'm doing clock management, knowing we're up by 14, but knowing that they're going to go in 2-minute mode.
And that's what they do. They go come down and they end up scoring on a 49-yard pass.
Yeah, that's the story of our season. Is we had young DBs, young secondary. Got to get stronger to the D line, but we had that cushion, which was a good thing. We had that 14-point lead, but they do come out. They throw again a great catch, great pass. And so now I know we have to control the clock. We got to do whatever we can do to control the clock. If I got to throw it, I got to throw it. If I got to run it, I got to run it. If I have to have Trey run it, then that's what we're going to do to put ourselves in a situation to win the game. And so we eat a lot of clock off, but again, we get into that situation where what do I do? And I'm like, oh, I want to run the ball. Probably should have thrown it, but I wanted to run because he had called his last time out. So I knew we had the advantage of running the ball, but we were behind the sticks, so it was going into 3rd down.
Yep.
And so at that point in time, we didn't get enough to get the 1st down, because we get the 1st down, the game's over.
Absolutely.
And that's what we were trying to get, was 2 first downs. You get 2 first downs at that point in time, the game's over. But we didn't. And so if I would have went for it, the clock would have continued to run, but I would have gave them yardage. And I knew Lucas is, really good at placing the ball and his hang time and doing stuff like that. And so, we as a coaching staff made an executive decision to go on and punt the ball. And so we did that, which now, they had to go 80-some yards, I think, to score. And so you're always nervous at that point in time, but you know that you got guys that got to make plays. And so
Savannah State had shown that they could go deep.
Oh, yeah. And so, we went super prevent, because, again, there wasn't enough time for them to catch the ball and stay in bounds. They literally had to catch it and get out of bounds. And so we had our linebackers and our safeties at intermediate depth. We took a defensive lineman out. They had another guy in there. We rushed 3. And they did a little trick play on the 1st down, where it was a flea flicker. The guy caught it, but his knee was down because it was a low ball. And so it was really good. Got him down to 2 seconds. And, I was telling the official the game was over. And he was like, no, coach, his knee was down. And I was like, okay, fine. It was a 1st down, I think, maybe 10 yards, And so they still had to go a long way. And we backed everybody up and kind of changed things up. And we knew that for him to make that long throw, that was not his throw. Sure. And so the prevent wasn't going to help, where they were beating us in a lot of man coverage and different coverages. And so they come out and they try to do, the flea flicker ordeal, and we pursue to the ball and make sure we don't give up the home run. And then the next thing you know, I think the ball hits the ground and time's off the clock, and we done what we set out to do, win the game.
Congratulations. It was a great way to end the season.
That's true. That's true.
So that was the final. Benedict, 35 to 20, 28?
27, 28.
27.
I didn't look at the scoreboard. I just knew we had won, and I went to go shake.
35-27. 35-27 is the final. Benedict wins. Last game of the year. Ends the season on a good note. You always want to end the season on a good note.
So true. So true. And that's what I'm excited about. Our guys are excited about it. And now we got to hit them weights. And most importantly, we got to finish strong academically, and we've been doing well academically, but right now it's them books and them weights is what we got to hit. So that's where we'll be.
All right, Coach, we'll hang around. We'll come back for one last segment real quick. But first, we'll do our assistant coach spotlight. And I believe we're going to meet our strength and conditioning coach. You talked about trying to get bigger and stronger and faster this winter and this spring. So we're going to meet Coach Austin.
Yes. So good.
All right, hang on. We'll be right back.
Your trip begins now. Your trip is your story, and all the best stories begin right here at the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Whether you travel for business or pleasure, we designed CAE to maximize your comfort. Maybe your trip is one of discovery, reunion, or time to close the deal. Wherever your trip ends, it all begins right here, the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. Fly with ease.
And welcome back to Inside Benedict College Football. I'm Dennis Switzer with Benedict College, and I'm here with Coach Austin Kistner, our head strength and conditioning coach. And we were listening to Coach Dickerson talk a lot about the plans to get bigger, stronger, faster. All that's on you.
Yes, sir. A little bit of pressure.
What are the plans for the off-season for the team?
So it's got to start now. As soon as the season's over, we have kids in the weight room now trying to kind of figure out where we're at. What are the biggest areas of need? Obviously, we need to get more stout up front, get faster on the perimeter. But it's going to start with accountability for these kids going back home. We have technology. We use Team Builder, so these kids all have a digital workout program. It's an app on their phone that I lead workouts through. So it starts with accountability. Can they go home over winter break, do what they need to do when we're not around, and put themselves in a position to succeed coming back in January?
One thing some people may not know, Benedict really has a really nice workout center for the student athletes, a really high-class center that you don't see at a lot of Division II levels.
Oh, it's an absolute blessing having 12 full racks, having a turf strip, having all digital technology, no pen and paper, no grease board, being fully digital through an app, through tablets that we have magnetically mounted to those 12 racks. It is truly one of the best facilities in Division II, if not in this part of the country.
So talk a little bit about your day and what all you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So morning is meetings and paperwork, all the fun, glamorous things that you get into when you get into coaching, analyzing different numbers, analyzing data. From there, we will work, myself and my assistant, Blair Brooks, with every single team on campus. So we will have all of those teams, all 15, throughout the course of the week, usually 2 to 3 times a week. So you'll see us at practices for basketball. You'll see us at practices for football, baseball, softball, a bunch. You'll see us out at track, over at USC, using those facilities as well, and then filtering those teams through. And then we also do sit in on staff meetings, position meetings, recruiting meetings, so that we can help be an extra eye for those coaches as they continue to build the next generation of Benedict Tigers.
And the student athletes, they're very receptive to the workout programs you guys put in?
Absolutely. We have a great group of kids. Our coaches do a great job bringing in good young men and women, and it helps when you have beautiful facilities, when you have an athletic department that invests in nutrition and protein powder and being able to feed these kids on top of having world-class workout facilities.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, it's been great talking to you today, and we're looking forward to seeing some of the results next season.
Absolutely.
With a bigger team, stronger team.
It'll be fun.
Okay. Well, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And we'll be back after this.
One little lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean big. Bigger than jackpot big. Like back in 2014, when lottery funds helped upgrade South Carolina's classrooms, giving students the tools they needed to follow their biggest ideas wherever they live, through school and far beyond. For over 20 years, the biggest lottery wins have been and always will be for our state students. After all, education is our middle name.
And welcome back to Inside Benedict College Football with Coach Ron Dickerson Jr. Normally, Coach, we talk about the upcoming game at this time of the show. No more games.
That's true. Well, there's still games. I mean, because, now we have to get into recruiting. And like I said, we got to make sure our guys are finishing strong academically. Coach Austin, who will be on, later, will talk about what his plan is and what our plans in the weight room are. But we got to get on the recruiting trail, and that's one of the things that we take pride in. Is you see we've played so many freshmen, we've played so many young guys, and that was coming in February and missing the signing period last year. Yeah. Now we have the opportunity to get this signing period and the one in the spring, and so we're going to be out on the road starting this week with a lot of the local high schools. There's a lot of schools in the state of South Carolina that are playing playoff games, so we'll be at those. We have guys from South Georgia. We'll have coaches there. We'll have guys from Florida. We'll be there. We have guys from Atlanta area, North Carolina. So we'll have coaches, everywhere. But we're going to take care of our backyard here in these next 2 weeks that we're off. So it's still game day for us because we got to go to games and watch prospective student athletes coming to Benedict. And so, that's where we will be. We will recruit, 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 and recruit.
And then you'll have spring workouts starting coming up some point here next semester.
Yeah, so we're going to do spring early because again, the one thing we have to do is we have to get strong. So I want to go spring early if we have any injuries, which we won't. But if we have any, they can also heal and get better. But the key is I have to get stronger. We have to get stronger. And when I say I mean myself. I got to get in shape because I challenged the team that I'm going to get in shape. And they all said, okay, coach. So I put that out there. That's the reason why I said but also them, they have to get stronger and in shape so that, we don't get pushed off the ball in the first half of all the games.
So do we have a date for the spring
You would ask me.
Showcase?
I want to say it's March 7th.
That is going to be early.
Yeah, I think it's March 7th at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Well, so hopefully all our fans will be ready for that. But all right, Coach, it's been great this season. It's been great working with you. Looking forward to big things next year.
Yes, I'm excited. I really am. We had a lot of great accomplishments. It'll be good to see, where some of our guys finished in their accomplishments in the conference. I think that'll come out here in a couple of weeks, and then also nationally, we should have some guys ranked both in the conference and nationally. But again, that comes back to their dedication, their love for Benedict, because like I told them, they chose to come here and they're excited about what Benedict has to offer off the field and on the field. And then, they go back and, you rank nationally, it reads Benedict, college. So I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. All right, Coach. Well, till next year, I guess this is goodbye, and goodbye to all thank you for watching every week and supporting Benedict College.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.